Happy Taco Tuesday. Welcome back to another watch list video. I'm going to try to start these videos out every time now looking at market pulls. Just quick look at the breadth tracker. Obviously, as you can see, there were more stocks down 4% plus today than there were up, but it's not really, I mean, it was pretty much even. I mean, about 60, 50, 53 stocks or whatever. But what is super important to me is the 10x ATR names did grow today by about 3 more names adding to that list. And some of these top names up here are absolutely insane. You saw HPE kind of cool off today. Dell cool off, PENG and VSH with just a massive move today, putting them super extended. Micron super extended, right? They just continue higher. Doesn't mean I'm shorting them. Just it's nice to know that a lot of the leaders, ARM, Marvell was insane. DDOG, I think with an inside day, CrowdStrike inside day. Like these names still look like they want to continue higher, but it's nice to note that they're becoming extremely extended. So just keep an eye on that, because when those names blow off or just want to digest and not just kind of give that final parabolic few days of gapping up and really going and giving that blow off type of move. If they want to pull back and digest and build new setups, that would be super interesting, and I think that would be healthy. But for right now, the action that we currently have right in front of our face, it's not healthy, and it's starting to become very extended, and it's raising caution in things that I buy that are new, as far as me just lowering size. That way I'm not just piling on too much exposure if the market gets into a phase where everything's extended and then it gets a massive pullback day, and I take a big L in my portfolio for a day or whatever. But like I said, stuff's working. Names are continuing to set up. I don't see too many setups tonight than I have been the past few weeks, and it's kind of been like that. Like yesterday, there were a few names that could have been good. Your optics were great, and certain other things. And there's some groups that have been acting extremely well. But I will get into my ready list. Going to keep this video super short. Like I said, not seeing too much where I'm freaking out about anything. Nothing screaming too much at me. But I will say I did buy BE today. Chart looks great. Still inside this little base, little flat base it's building. Nice range. You built a higher low Friday. Little stall bar on Monday. And then Tuesday you get the oops reversal. Back to the 20. I started to get into this name first 5 minutes of the day, and it pushed back through that Friday / yesterday's high, so it acted super nice, built a higher low. I think an inside day tomorrow to push out would have me wanting to maybe even add to this name or just sit with what I got. I got about 11% position in this thing, but I think probably like 12, whatever, but a little over 10%. I think this is one of the best looking charts right now, so continue to keep an eye on this. Amazon, yes, it's been pretty weak. You kind of undercut that low, sort of rally back through it intraday, not anything too much, but I'm just going to look for, and flipping to a weekly chart, you get the prior high. A rally back through this prior high is where I would like to maybe get back in this name. I did own it, trimmed it like once, and then as it lost to 20-day, I got rid of more, and then I cut the rest today. So still don't think it looks bad, but it was unfortunate to see it take out that low that I originally bought it. It was looking super nice, and then last 2 days it got hit pretty hard, and then today was just like the cherry on top where I was like, okay, get rid of it, take a small loss, don't let the position go red, or the position did go red, but like I was using a 3-stop strategy pretty much on this way down, and staggering my stop, not letting the position actually go red. So Amazon still looks great. This is a spot where it's like, is it going to undercut and rally, or is it just going to blow through this and meet the 50-day or something, and then we'll see from there. I think another name that looks similar to that is your Intel. I would like Intel just a little bit lower, right to this prior low, maybe a nasty down day closing below it, and then a rally back through, or just an undercut and rally tomorrow. Intraday would be super interesting, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is the low and we just take out today's highs, get back above the 20-day, and that's it. And there's your higher low, and then now we're in a range. So interesting, something I really want to keep an eye on, kind of similar to that Amazon. And another one, actually, obviously, this is going to be all your mega cap kind of names. You got Google, right? Not the best day today. Maybe the earnings low, so people try to take this one, whatever. I just kind of watched it, let it go. It's coming right into the 50-day / the bottom of the support gap. Super interesting. I think the weekly chart still looks great. It's just pulling back and ready to find a bottom. Hopefully, don't want to jump in front of a falling knife, but I will say an undercut or a bounce off this area, I will look to try to take a position, maybe in something like a GGLL, something that moves a little bit more faster, because this is only a 2% or 2.5, 2 3/4 ATR. But kind of like that similar move where names I'm watching that are falling. Yes, the market is continuing higher and these names are falling, so maybe that's not a good sign, but we'll see. Names have acted really great from undercuts and rallies, and that's one of my favorite setups to buy a name. So I'm looking for that as far as the daily setup. But like I said, you got the QQQ 9 and 3/4 extended. The XLK looks the XLK as well, getting pretty extended here. That doesn't mean it's over, but it's just raising caution still, continuing to just remember in the back of my mind that the XLK is 12 ATRs from the 50-day. There's 42 names extended from their 10x extended from their 50 SMAs and things like that. And then another thing is like the dollar inside day to day, still in this little mini cup with handle. Is it going to push out? I don't know. Not like this is not like at the very top of my list where I'm like, oh my god, the market's going to pull back because the dollar looks good. It's just something to keep an eye on. Crude oil as well. I mean, and another one where it's like an undercuts and rallies inside day. It's trying to push out of that. Not something I'm so fond of, right? Or whatever. It comes into the 50, rejects, and then that's a lower high and it breaks down. That's possible too. But you look at something like the SMH and it's like goes sideways for 5 days, breaks out, looks beautiful. And a name I own like HIMX, perfect textbook high type flag. Another nice continuation day to day, so I think that looks great. And there's so many other semis that actually well, like your Marvell. You get the news of Jensen, thinking this company needs to be a $1 trillion market cap, and then comes out again, I think, in the after hours and talks about how it needs to be a $3 trillion market cap. So up again on that news. So, you're seeing this euphoric action in a lot of these semis, and obviously AMD looks like it wants higher to me for right now, but it's another one where it's like it's almost 11 ATRs from its 50. It's made a massive move. Just continued digestion here would be super interesting, and then a pullback where I could buy as a higher low setup would be nice. But to me, this name looks like it wants to go make a new high. So obviously SMH super strong, getting into that euphoric area where a lot of stocks are becoming euphoric. Randomly want to talk about this. XBI got hammered today. A lot of biotech names got destroyed today, so really want to avoid this sector. I talked about crude. REMX, your rare earths, which I'll go over these names that are on my ready list. Big base here, flip to a weekly. Getting super tight under that pivot. So really nice base being built. Can it break out? I own USAR from Monday. So acting super nice, acting fine. MP is on the list. You flip to a weekly, it's sitting right under this pivot, came into it, rejected, and now we're right back at it. Can we get a few days sideways here and then it breaks, or is it going to pull back to this little mini pivot tomorrow and maybe I can buy it on some weakness? Is it going to give us an inside day tomorrow, or is it just going to push out? Something I want to watch. I think this is the best looking name out of all of them, right? It's one of the top holdings in the REMX. So, this name should get going if the REMX is going to break out of its base. And also I want to bring up the TECL. This name makes, the technology XLK QQQ SMH just look insane. This is a monster, right? And like I said, you get 1, 2, a third pretty much gap up and hold at the highs day. So maybe some cool off soon, right? Not trying to call a top on any of this stuff, but just interesting. Uranium ETF, really big move today, obviously in your CCJ, UEC, UUUU, all those names. Nice base building here. Like CCJ, this is also on the list. Nice weekly base. Made a big move today, 2 days tight pretty much under the 50 and then push through that. Can it build an actual daily setup here? Can it pull back to the 50? Whatever. It's a name I'm going to continue to keep an eye on. I don't really see a big setup going into it tomorrow, but it's more so like a name I just want to continue to watch for some digestion. BW, this name got hammered yesterday and then an inside day today right off the 50. And it's back under the pivot. Can it push over today's high? That would be super interesting. This could be like that higher low spot. You look at like a weekly chart. The weekly chart looks great. Don't think this name is completely broken yet. So not as liquid, right? 67 million a day. I don't think you guys can see that, but right, not as liquid. So kind of like a back burner name. Probably won't end up taking it, but not a bad looking setup. Okay, CoreWeave did get hit today on that gap up. After a really nice day yesterday, a nice open equals low, breaking out of a nice little flip to a weekly, right? You got a nice little weekly pivot that it broke out of. Can it pull back into that? Give us a spot to buy as a pullback, or even into this little gap it made. That would be super interesting. Or can it even continue out of like a high volume close, or who knows? So it's something I really want to pay attention to, right? It was a super strong name yesterday. Definitely could be considered a laggard, but who knows? I liked that move yesterday, and I think I like what they're doing as far as the theme as well as being, a data center name. So continue to keep an eye on that. QBTS, a name that I own, doesn't look like it's doing anything too wrong. Kind of zoom out, it's building some sort of a range. It kind of came up to the top of the range today, like rejected and closed in the middle of the range. So Let this name continue building sideways would be interesting, but for now, don't see too much on it. But Rigetti is one that I like more rather than QBTS, right? You're building a range back above the 200. Looks good. Continue to build this range, and I think that would be awesome. I do own this name still, so I would love to see it push out, but letting this name continue to build above the 200 would be nice. A nice base here being built is super interesting. QUBT, also Quantum. You get back above the 200, you put in an inside day. The weekly chart looks good, kind of sitting under this pretty important level, which $13.50 kind of been an area we've kind of come into. And you're starting to build a little range here. So can we push out over today's high? Super interested to see if that can happen. Who knows? But a part of that quantum theme. RDW, you can look at Rocket Lab and think, is this going to be a high or low off the 20-day? Maybe. Not really something I want to buy, but it is something that's interesting to me. See if it can just push right back through today's highs. You look at a weekly, it's like this is the very first red weekly candle. It's the first pullback. Will this be it? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it comes down, undercuts and rallies. Even undercuts and rallies the 20-day, which maybe did something sort of like that today, where it closed under it and gapped back through it today, but still closed ugly. So I don't know. I don't think RDW looks bad. Another one where it's like you got a big gap here. So interested to see if it falls into that, how it could act. But this name made a massive move. I thought it was just going to continue up, go parabolic and become a parabolic short, but not quite. So it's nice to see it finally start to digest and pull back. And this is the very first pullback since this big move. So, will it be supported at the gap? Maybe. Something to definitely keep an eye on. Same thing with Rocket Lab. And then ASTS, right? It's another one where it's like you come into the weekly pivot, you undercut and rally it, closes a little bit above it, and then a gap and go day today. So super nice day today. You're seeing some of these still act pretty good. Like if you look at the UFO, right? Inside day looks like it maybe wants to continue lower, but you got the 20-day below it. You got support. You made a big move up. There's lots of support on a lot of these charts. So I'm expecting maybe a Rocket Lab, an RDW to maybe find support somewhere in this area. We will have to see. Definitely something I want to keep an eye on. Roku, this is a name that Kathy Wood owns, and I don't think ARK looks too bad, right? Flip to a weekly chart, you're breaking out of this little range it's built, and so far an inside week, and a 3-day pullback, squatting right back into the base. So like Tesla looks great, a name I own, and I think this one was definitely buyable today. You flip to a weekly, you get the 2021 highs. You get the 2021 highs, right? And even the 200-day. And if you look at the first hour of the day today, you get a big nuke candle, you undercut it, and you rally right back through, and then the whole rest of the day it pushes away, goes sideways, and it sort of pushes into the close. So I think this chart looks great. It could even be a higher low setup going into tomorrow. So watching today's highs as an area for me to add to it. Adding on weakness to the positions I already own is the only way I'll add to a name. I'm not going to be adding to strength when it's up here, even though it's working, right? From me buying it down here, right? I'm not going to be adding up here. There's no setup. But now you finally get a pullback, hold of the 200. Nice outside bar reversal candle. Let's see if it can continue higher from there. But it looks great, right? Like I talked about, ARK looks fine. Roku, building a range, you're building higher lows. It's moved into stage 2 on like a monthly or even a weekly chart. It's building a range on the weekly. Obviously, he flips the daily, building higher lows. Had a weird earnings gap up where it kind of filled the gap, closed high. So we'll see. But this is a spot where I'm like, can this be that second higher, or can this be the next higher low? Through today's high would be interesting, and something I want to keep an eye on. RXT, this name, on another software name. I don't know exactly what they do, honestly. Right, it's kind of that data processing services like Iron, but nice inside day today. It built some sort of a little mini cup here, like it just a pullback to the 20 where it just builds that little right side of the V, goes sideways, and it broke out of that sideways yesterday, and then an inside day today. One of the better looking inside day charts, I think, in my opinion. So just something I'm just going to keep an eye on, see if it can work. If it doesn't, it is what it is. Like I said, there's not anything that's really like standing out to me too much. I don't have any optics names on my list because these names are just, the setup was to buy them off the 50, and I was watching them, and I look away from them one day, and they go. VIAV looks awesome. LITE looks awesome. All these names can be on the list. Just watching these names for a pullback, like you throw this LITE on the list, right? A pullback to the pivot could be a setup, right? This pivot that we just broke out, but you get an undercut rally, the 50 / these lows looks great. GLW also awesome. CIEN, I think, reports on Thursday. Yeah, reports on Thursday. Another nice push. Talked about this one yesterday. Beautiful push from the inside day. right into new highs, right? Software has been great. I think SWMR, software name, IPO, recent IPO, breaks out of the IPO highs. Nice little IPO base. Super interesting. Yeah, and then SNDK, of course, you know, you're straight up. I would like some digestion and a higher low here being built. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? You get an inside day. Is it just going to push out of this, or is this going to just, you know, digest a little bit, not go parabolic just yet on a daily? And you know, maybe give us a higher low off the 20 or back and squatting in here and then pushing right back out, or just falling right into the prior pivot and working. Who knows? Something to definitely keep an eye on. And this is going to be my watch list going into tomorrow. I appreciate you guys all for watching. Have a good rest of your week. Peace.